When the rumor first slipped into the internet like a spark hitting dry grass, nobody expected it to explode into a wildfire. Yet here we are, standing in the middle of the hottest drama the entertainment world has imagined in years. This entire story is a dramatized narrative, a entertainment tale in the spirit of over-the-top reality TV storytelling, but trust me, the way it unfolds will make your jaw tighten and your heart race. Picture this. Social media timelines spinning, blogs buzzing, whispers turning into loud debates, and fans across the world saying the very same thing. There is no way this is real. Emotions ran high, fans were shocked, and the streets of social media were on fire. Our story opens with Mendeecees sitting in a dimly lit studio set in this dramatized world, the fake headlines flashing, his name lighting up in bold letters as bloggers in this imaginary narrative accuse, speculate, and narrate their own versions of what supposedly happened. Zoom in on his face in this retelling. He is tired, he is worn out, and you can almost feel the weight of the chaos pressing down on him. In our storyline, he has been silent for too long, letting the storm rage on while everyone else spoke for him. But tonight, in this dramatic entertainment fantasy, he finally decides to speak. And when he does, the world in this storyline stops breathing. Meanwhile, in the same universe, Tamar Braxton's name sits right next to his in flashing letters, stirring more noise than anyone thought possible. Fans in this dramatized tale cannot decide whether to believe the whispers or reject them outright. The family in this imagined storyline feels divided, friends feel confused, and the public is glued to the drama like viewers watching a reality show they cannot switch off. Every eye is waiting. Every heart wants to know. Did something really happen, or is this just another scandal exaggerated by gossip in this entertainment narrative? As cameras in this crafted drama roll, lights burn bright, and social media in this tale shakes with fury, anticipation, and curiosity, Mendeecees finally leans forward in this imagined world and breaks his silence. What will he say? Will he deny everything? Will he admit to something unexpected? Or will his words spark an even bigger emotional storm across this already tense storyline? Stay right here, because what unfolds next in this sensationalized drama will leave this universe spinning, fans gasping, and the internet in this story roaring louder than ever before. In this imagined world of heightened drama where every moment feels larger than life and every whisper grows into a storm, the night begins with the city lights glowing while the internet hums with restless curiosity, because in this crafted entertainment tale everyone believes something unbelievable is brewing behind the scenes, and the air feels heavy with suspense as fans wait to see whether Mendeecees will finally open his mouth in this dramatized universe and speak about the alleged affair with Tamar Braxton that only exists inside this sensationalized story. And in this moment emotions are tense, hearts are uneasy, and the energy feels like thunder slowly forming inside the clouds. And even though this narrative is entirely created for entertainment, the atmosphere inside it feels real enough to make viewers lean forward and hold their breath as if they are watching a real scandal unfolding before their eyes, because fans in this world are shocked, blogs are buzzing, and the family in this imagined storyline feels divided, wondering what truth will be spoken and what wounds will reopen once words finally spill out. And as Mendeecees sits in this dramatic studio setting created by imagination, his mind races with memories, rumors, half-truths, and emotional noise that refuse to quiet down, and his voice keeps echoing inside his head saying how much pressure has been building, how much judgment he has faced, and how heavy it feels to carry a storm alone, because in this universe he has watched friends whisper, strangers speculate, and everyone build their own twisted version of what they think happened, and the silence he kept now feels like a cage around his chest. And he knows the time inside this story has come to break it open and speak out, no matter how hard it might feel, no matter who gets upset, and no matter how loud the public reaction will become, because in this dramatic narrative the world is waiting for his voice and the weight of expectation feels unbearable. He takes a deep breath in this entertainment fantasy, his hands slightly trembling not from guilt but from frustration, confusion, and exhaustion, because in this story he is tired of being the character everyone points at, he is tired of being the name people drag into conversations, and he is tired of his silence being treated like proof of something he never even understood. And somewhere in this world Tamar Braxton's name echoes too, surrounded by flashing imaginary headlines and emotional reactions from fans who do not know whether to defend her, blame her, or simply sit back and watch the drama unfold like a reality show turned up to the highest level of intensity. And Tamar in this crafted storyline feels overwhelmed too. Because her world feels invaded by chaos, her emotions feel tangled, and the noise around her refuses to fade, and in this dramatized narrative she keeps saying she did not ask for this storm, she did not invite this drama, yet she has been pushed into its center, and the thought of being judged by millions inside this story makes her heart tighten. While she tries to hold herself together with strength, attitude, and that spark of resilience the audience in this world expects from her. Meanwhile, in this exaggerated reality TV-style universe, friends are whispering, group chats are exploding, and everyone claims they heard something, or know something, even though none of them actually witnessed anything. But gossip in this crafted narrative grows like wildfire, and somehow every voice feels louder than the people actually involved, and fans are shocked, confused, divided, and emotionally invested in something that is nothing more than an entertainment drama created to thrill them, yet it feels alive, breathing, and uncontrollable inside this storyline, and families in this world argue behind closed doors about what is right, what is wrong, who to believe, and who to blame, and emotions run high, tears fall in private, tempers flare, phones ring non-stop, and the weight of public judgment presses on everyone who happens to be connected to the names caught in this dramatic storm, because in this universe of crafted scandal, nothing feels small and nothing feels simple. Then in the middle of all this noise the imagined interview chair sits waiting, the camera is in this setting stand ready, and the energy in the room feels thick like rain about to fall, as Mendeecees finally sits forward in this narrative and looks straight ahead, and though it is only part of an entertainment script, his silence in this moment feels heavy, and the world inside this story feels like it pauses, because everyone wants to hear whether he will shout, cry, deny, confess, defend himself, or reveal something that nobody saw coming, and inside his heart in this world there is pain, there is anger, there is confusion, and there is also strength, and he is ready to let his voice be heard, not in arrogance, not in fear, but in pure emotional honesty crafted for this dramatic tale, because in his mind he believes he deserves the chance to speak without being torn apart before he can even finish his sentence, and when he finally opens his mouth to talk, his voice feels steady but there is trembling beneath it, because the weight of everything he is about to say in this entertainment universe carries tension strong enough to shake every viewer paying attention to this story. He begins speaking in this dramatized world with words that feel raw and personal, telling how he watched the storm get bigger every day, how he saw people he trusted turn distant, and how he kept wondering how something so unreal could take over his life inside this narrative and feel so real at the same time. And he says in this emotional storyline that people forgot he is human, that he feels hurt, that rumors cut deeper than anyone admits, and while he speaks the audience inside this universe sits silently, eyes fixed, hearts racing, and minds spinning as he reveals how lonely it feels to be trapped inside a scandal that was never supposed to exist, and the drama rises, tension thickens, and the temperature of emotions climbs higher. Because in this world built for dramatic storytelling, words do not just fill space, they explode like emotional fireworks and everyone watching feels the heat of them burn right through the screen. Somewhere in this same narrative Tamar watches too, her heart pounding, her thoughts racing, and tears resting just behind her eyes as she hears her name tied to something bigger than she ever imagined in this made-up world, and she whispers to herself in frustration, disbelief, and quiet sadness asking how everything spiraled like this and why her life in this storyline has been turned into public debate, and she wishes the noise would stop, but in this dramatic universe the noise only grows louder, because every word Mendeecees speaks now creates waves across the internet, sending fans into madness, friends into shock, and critics into overdrive. And the story inside this universe grows hotter, deeper, and more complicated, and just when everyone thinks the emotional peak has arrived, the atmosphere tightens again, because something is coming next, something even more intense, something that will push this drama to another level, something that none of them are ready for, and the tension hangs there like thunder waiting to strike as this part of the story closes with breath held tight and hearts restless, waiting for what comes next in this wild, emotional, reality TV-style entertainment world. The storm in this dramatized narrative does not pause, it only grows fiercer as the world watches every word, every pause, every glance Mendeecees gives during this imagined revelation, and as he continues speaking, the tension in the room feels suffocating, heavy, and electric all at once. Because in this crafted entertainment story the stakes are enormous and emotions are amplified to a level where every heartbeat seems to echo across the internet, where fans are shocked, friends are whispering, and the family is left divided, torn between loyalty, doubt, and the need to protect their own names in a world that thrives on scandal and spectacle. And yet even in this chaos, Mendeecees' words carry a weight that feels undeniable, raw, and impossible to ignore, because he speaks not just to defend himself but to reclaim a sense of humanity inside this dramatized tale. He leans back slightly in this imagined setting, eyes scanning the room filled with imaginary cameras, crew, and a small audience who are only here for the entertainment thrill, and he begins to outline the sequence of events in a way that in this world seems shocking, unexpected, and deeply personal, because he describes the interactions, the moments that were misinterpreted, and the emotions that were twisted into rumors, and as he tells this story, the atmosphere thickens with suspense, the temperature of drama rising higher with each sentence, because inside this narrative, every word feels like it could ignite a firestorm of reactions, and that is exactly what happens. Fans in this world take to social media, reacting, debating, speculating, and sharing clips as if they were witnessing the scandal firsthand, even though it exists only in this dramatized, sensationalized version created for entertainment. The family in this narrative also feels the heat, torn between supporting Mendeecees, protecting Tamar, and grappling with their own personal stakes, because in this universe loyalties are complicated, emotions run high, and the pressure of public attention feels inescapable, and as tension builds, arguments erupt in imagined group chats, whispered phone calls, and private conversations that the audience in this crafted story can only glimpse, but the drama is palpable, every exchange amplified, every reaction heightened, because this is a reality TV-style universe where exaggeration is everything, and yet beneath the surface, the characters, though feel real, their emotions believable, and their struggles compelling, drawing viewers deeper into this chaotic, enthralling tale. Then, in this dramatized scenario, a new twist arrives that changes the energy completely, because a leaked message supposedly from someone close to Tamar circulates inside this entertainment world, hinting at information no one had considered before, and the public explodes with questions, accusations, and theories, each one more wild than the last, as Mendeecees pauses, letting the weight of these developments settle in the room, the tension palpable, because in this created universe the unexpected always arrives to test the strength, patience, and composure of everyone involved, and the emotional stakes rise to levels that feel almost unbearable, even though it is all part of a story designed to thrill, shock, and captivate the audience. Mendeecees then addresses these new twists directly, his voice steady but charged with the intensity of the situation, explaining how misunderstandings, timing, and perception shaped a narrative that in this world has taken on a life of its own, and as he speaks, he interjects moments of vulnerability, admitting fears, regrets, and frustrations that make the audience in this dramatized tale lean closer, hanging on every syllable, because the power of confession in this entertainment scenario is enormous, drawing viewers into the emotional center of the storm, making them feel as if they are witnessing truth, even in a world entirely created for their amusement and engagement. Simultaneously, Tamar in this world reacts behind the scenes, sharing her own perspective with close friends in imagined conversations that leak to the public within this story, amplifying tension and driving the drama to new heights, as alliances shift, opinions clash, and emotions flare, and the narrative takes on a momentum that feels unstoppable, because in this reality TV-style storytelling, the energy of gossip, emotional stakes, and shocking revelations feed off each other, creating a cycle that keeps the audience riveted, hearts racing, minds swirling, unable to look away from the escalating chaos, and in this part of the story, it becomes clear that every word, gesture, and reaction matters, building toward an even greater climax that will leave fans gasping, arguing, and craving what comes next in the saga. As part of this crafted drama, Mendeecees recounts a confrontation imagined between him and a close friend who had spread rumors unintentionally, emotions running high, voices raised, tears threatening, and accusations flying, because in this universe every interaction is amplified for maximum effect, and as they argue, they reveal deeper feelings of betrayal, loyalty, and fear, painting a vivid picture of the interpersonal tension that drives this story, keeping the audience glued, invested, and emotionally on edge, because this is the heart of dramatized entertainment, conflict, emotion, and unpredictability combined to create a narrative that feels larger than life yet intimately personal, even though it exists entirely within the imagination of this tale, and the fans, watching from their vantage point, cannot get enough, sharing every snippet, debating every claim, and reacting as if it were reality unfolding in front of them, even as the drama continues to escalate. In this intense moment, the narrative shifts to a series of imagined exchanges between Mendeecees, Tamar, and their circle of friends, where secrets are revealed, loyalties questioned, and emotions explode in ways that feel both shocking and inevitable, because in this created world of entertainment, tension is the lifeblood of the story, and every character's reaction adds fuel to the fire, driving fans to consume, speculate, and engage with a hunger that mirrors the intensity of the drama itself, and as the part nears its climax, the audience feels the pull of suspense so strong that they are on the edge of their seats, waiting for what comes next, hearts pounding, eyes glued, and minds racing, because in this sensationalized story the twists, turns, and emotional highs are unrelenting, and the roller coaster of betrayal, confession, and revelation shows no sign of slowing down, promising even greater chaos and drama in the parts that follow. The storm continues to spiral in this dramatized world as Mendeecees leans forward again, his eyes fixed on the imagined cameras, the tension in the room thick enough to feel like a physical weight pressing down on everyone present, because in this entertainment universe every heartbeat, every pause, every breath carries meaning, significance, and potential for chaos. And fans in this crafted narrative are watching, tweeting, commenting, and speculating as if the words themselves could shatter reality, while the family remains divided, whispering in corners, debating loyalties, and struggling with the emotional gravity of the situation, knowing that every statement, every revelation, and every rumor could tip the balance, ignite conflict, or bring unexpected reconciliation in this dramatized tale, and the energy is electric, volatile, and impossible to ignore. Mendeecees, in this scenario, begins to recount the moments that allegedly sparked the rumors, describing them with emotional detail, his voice wavering at times, steady at others, as he tries to convey the complexity of human interaction within this sensationalized world, and as he speaks, the drama escalates, because in this story, perception matters as much as fact, and the audience reacts to every nuance, inflection, and expression, building the tension and driving the narrative forward in ways that feel almost unbearable yet entirely compelling. And each revelation adds a new layer to the storm, making fans gasp, debate, and engage with increasing intensity, while the imagined inner circle of friends, confidants, and family members struggle to contain their own reactions, caught between disbelief, loyalty, and the desire to protect reputations in this exaggerated, reality TV-style universe. Meanwhile, in this dramatized narrative, Tamar's perspective enters the scene through imagined private conversations that leak into the public eye, creating new angles, deeper tension, and more conflict, because in this story, every reaction compounds the drama, heightens the stakes, and fuels the frenzy of speculation, and fans in this world are captivated, emotionally invested, and constantly reacting, as if they are watching a live, high-stakes drama unfold in real time, even though it exists entirely within the realm of sensationalized entertainment, designed to shock, thrill, and entertain. The tension reaches a peak in this storyline when a heated confrontation occurs between Mendeecees and an imagined friend, a conversation filled with accusations, tears, anger, and moments of regret, all portrayed with exaggerated intensity, because in this crafted universe emotional expression is magnified, and every interaction becomes a spectacle for the audience. And as the argument escalates, viewers in this dramatized world feel the rush of adrenaline, the weight of betrayal, and the suspense of not knowing what will happen next, because in reality TV-style storytelling, conflict is the engine that drives engagement, suspense, and emotional investment, and the audience cannot look away. In this scenario, Mendeecees reveals secrets, fears, and private frustrations that have never been spoken before, adding depth to the narrative, and as he opens up, the energy in the room, and the audience, shifts, because vulnerability in this created drama is both shocking and compelling, drawing viewers deeper into the story and making them feel as though they are witnessing something profoundly real, even though it exists only within the world of this sensationalized tale, and each revelation sends ripples across the imagined social media platforms, sparking debates, fan theories, and emotional reactions that mirror the intensity of the drama itself. As the story unfolds further, additional imagined exchanges between Mendeecees, Tamar, and their circle of friends introduce unexpected twists, misunderstandings, and moments of emotional volatility, because in this sensationalized universe, the thrill comes from unpredictability, heightened emotion, and shocking revelations, and the audience is swept along with every twist, caught between disbelief and fascination, while the tension between loyalty, perception, and personal stakes keeps escalating, building toward a climax that promises to be even more dramatic, intense, and emotionally charged than anything the viewers have experienced so far in this entertainment saga. Then, in this Al world, a shocking new development emerges, a piece of information from an imagined insider that threatens to upend everything previously assumed, sparking renewed debate, disbelief, and speculation, because in reality TV-style drama, a single revelation can alter the course of relationships, alliances, and public perception. And fans in this crafted narrative explode with reactions, commentary, and engagement, emotionally tethered to the unfolding events, while the characters themselves, though entirely navigate the emotional complexity of loyalty, betrayal, and personal stakes, knowing that every word, action, and decision carries amplified significance in this sensationalized story. As Mendeecees continues, he addresses this new twist, carefully navigating his words to clarify misunderstandings, reveal intentions, and provide context within this dramatized universe, and in doing so, the energy intensifies further, because the audience is drawn to the layered complexity of emotions, the interplay of relationships, and the unpredictability of reactions. And as this narrative develops, every viewer feels compelled to engage, speculate, and emotionally invest in the drama, because in the world of sensationalized entertainment, the thrill comes not only from scandal but also from the intricate web of emotional, interpersonal, and public consequences that follow each revelation, heightening suspense and anticipation for the next moment of explosive drama in this saga. Finally, in this part of the story, tensions reach a fever pitch as Mendeecees recounts a climactic confrontation in the imagined world, where words are exchanged, emotions flare, tears fall, and allegiances are tested, because in this dramatized reality TV universe, conflict and raw emotion drive the narrative, and the audience is drawn ever deeper into the story, hearts racing, minds spinning, and eyes glued to every detail, fully absorbed in the yet viscerally compelling drama, knowing that what comes next will push the stakes even higher, and leaving them desperate to witness the continuation of this sensationalized saga. The intensity in this world does not let up. The storm surrounding Mendeecees and Tamar only escalates as imagined social media posts, fan reactions, and insider leaks circulate within this dramatized narrative, creating a sense of chaos that feels larger than life, because in this entertainment universe every rumor, accusation, and whispered conversation carries explosive weight, and the audience is captivated, hearts pounding, eyes glued to screens, desperate to understand who is telling the truth and what will happen next, while the characters themselves, though entirely grapple with the emotional consequences of each revelation, navigating loyalty, betrayal, and personal stakes in a world built to amplify tension and drama beyond imagination. In this part of the story, Mendeecees recounts a series of imagined private interactions that allegedly sparked misunderstandings and rumors, describing them with a raw, emotionally charged intensity that draws the audience deeper into the narrative, because in this dramatized universe, perception is just as powerful as reality, and every detail matters, building suspense and keeping viewers on edge as they imagine the conflict unfolding in real time, their minds racing with speculation, empathy, and intrigue, as if they themselves were part of this high-stakes, sensationalized world, where every glance, word, and reaction can ignite a firestorm of emotion and fan response. Meanwhile, in this scenario, Tamar's perspective enters through imagined conversations with friends, family, and confidants, providing new angles, deepening the tension, and introducing moments of vulnerability, confusion, and emotional intensity, because in this entertainment story, the interplay of perspectives is crucial to sustaining drama, and as these exchanges circulate among fans and followers, they spark heated debates, disbelief, and renewed engagement, creating a feedback loop of emotional investment that propels the narrative forward, making the story feel alive, urgent, and impossible to ignore, despite existing solely in this crafted universe. As the tension mounts, a confrontation erupts between Mendeecees and an imagined former ally, a scene filled with accusations, tears, raised voices, and moments of regret, because in this dramatized world conflict is the engine of engagement, and the audience is drawn to the raw intensity, emotional stakes, and unpredictable outcomes, their attention fixed on every detail. While in this universe, loyalty is fragile, trust is tested, and the consequences of perceived betrayal reverberate across relationships, fan communities, and the constructed social media landscape, keeping viewers riveted and emotionally invested. In this sequence, Mendeecees reveals deeper layers of emotion, fear, frustration, vulnerability, offering a glimpse into the internal turmoil that drives the drama, and as he speaks, the energy in the room and the audience's imagined reactions shift, because vulnerability in a sensationalized narrative amplifies suspense, engagement, and empathy, drawing viewers closer and making them feel intimately connected to events that, while Al are crafted to feel viscerally real, and every revelation creates new waves of speculation, fan theories, and heightened tension, as the audience anticipates the next unexpected twist in the saga. Further complicating the story, an imagined insider leak surfaces, introducing a previously unknown element that challenges assumptions, escalates conflict, and forces characters in this dramatized universe to navigate new emotional terrain, because in reality TV-style storytelling, surprises fuel drama, engagement, and fan fascination. And as the leak spreads through this crafted social media landscape, the Al audience erupts with reactions, theories, and debates, while Mendeecees and Tamar confront the emotional fallout, trying to assert control over a narrative that seems determined to spiral beyond their grasp, heightening suspense and keeping viewers on edge. As Mendeecees continues to navigate this Al storm, he addresses misinterpretations, clarifies intentions, and shares emotional truths, his voice charged with intensity and vulnerability, drawing the audience deeper into the sensationalized narrative, because in this entertainment universe, emotional honesty, whether real or constructed, is a powerful driver of engagement. And as each detail unfolds, the tension escalates, alliances shift, and relationships teeter on the brink of collapse, while fans, immersed in this dramatized world, react with shock, curiosity, and emotional investment, unable to look away from the ever-intensifying saga, fully absorbed in the Al yet gripping drama. Meanwhile, Tamar's imagined reactions, private reflections, and confiding moments with close friends add layers of complexity to the narrative, creating new tension points and amplifying emotional stakes, because in this crafted reality TV-style universe, perspective, vulnerability, and interpersonal conflict are essential to sustaining drama, and the audience remains glued, anticipating every revelation, every response, and every shift in loyalty, hearts racing, minds spinning, and eyes locked on the unfolding events, caught in a whirlwind of sensationalized suspense, emotional intensity, and unpredictable twists, knowing that each moment brings them closer to a climax that promises even greater chaos, conflict, and intrigue in the parts that follow. The part concludes with the Al storm reaching a new height, as tensions, emotions, and public reactions collide, leaving the imagined audience in suspense, hearts pounding, and the narrative poised for the next wave of dramatic escalation, because in this sensationalized story, the stakes, conflicts, and emotional intensity continue to climb, promising more shocking revelations, heightened suspense, and emotional turmoil in the chapters yet to come, keeping viewers deeply engaged and eagerly anticipating the continuation of this Al yet irresistibly compelling saga. Al drama escalates further as Mendeecees, in this sensationalized narrative, begins to recount a series of imagined events that fans in this dramatized world had only speculated about, and as he speaks, the tension rises with every word, every pause, and every subtle gesture, because in this entertainment universe, suspense is fueled not just by what is said but by what is left unsaid, by glances, expressions, and the emotional weight carried in silence, and the audience in this scenario leans in, hearts racing, minds swirling with theories, and emotions running high, completely absorbed in the unfolding spectacle, as though the storm were real, tangible, and unavoidable. He describes moments of alleged interaction with Tamar, moments that in this crafted narrative feel electric, controversial, and emotionally charged, and as he navigates these memories, the room, the audience, and the Al social media landscape seem to hold their collective breath, waiting for the next revelation, the next twist, the next emotional spike that will send fans into a frenzy. Because in this dramatized reality TV-style world, every memory, every recollection, every nuance of interaction becomes a potential flashpoint, igniting speculation, shock, and relentless engagement, and the pressure in this Al universe is palpable, thick enough to feel like a storm pressing against the walls, ready to break at any moment. Simultaneously, Tamar's imagined perspective and private reflections provide counterpoints that complicate the narrative, creating tension, intrigue, and conflict that feels raw and immediate, because in this entertainment story, conflict is magnified and perspective matters, and as her thoughts circulate in the Al public space, reactions explode, alliances shift, and the emotional stakes rise, with every viewer caught between disbelief, fascination, and the compulsive need to know what will happen next, as if they were witnessing reality, even though this is a fully dramatized tale designed to thrill, shock, and engage. As the narrative unfolds, imagined confrontations between Mendeecees and various friends, allies, and family members further escalate the drama, filled with raised voices, tears, accusations, and emotional intensity, because in this crafted reality TV-style universe, interpersonal conflict is the engine that drives engagement, suspense, and emotional investment, and every fan, commenter, and spectator in the AL world feels the impact of each interaction, debating loyalties, questioning motives, and emotionally reacting as though the events were unfolding in real time, while the characters themselves navigate the tension, uncertainty, and high stakes of a story designed to feel both personal and universally compelling. The tension in this world is heightened by the arrival of a shocking new twist, an imagined leak or revelation that upends previous assumptions, sparking fresh debate, disbelief, and emotional reactions, because in sensationalized entertainment, surprise, unpredictability, and the escalation of conflict are essential, and as this twist reverberates through the AL social media landscape, every character, fan, and observer is pulled deeper into the vortex of suspense, speculation, and emotional engagement, fully invested in the dramatic, high-stakes narrative that continues to unfold with relentless intensity. Mendeecees addresses the new twist, carefully navigating his words to clarify intentions, explain misunderstandings, and assert control over the narrative in this dramatized universe, while fans, critics, and AL onlookers respond with shock, curiosity, and emotional investment, because in this reality TV-style storytelling, the interplay of explanation, denial, and revelation drives the plot forward, sustaining engagement and heightening suspense, as viewers speculate on motives, predict outcomes, and anticipate the next eruption of drama, their attention fixed, hearts pounding, and minds spinning with anticipation. As the part progresses, the emotional stakes deepen through a series of imagined private exchanges, reflective monologues, and behind-the-scenes interactions that reveal vulnerability, fear, loyalty, and the complexities of relationships within this dramatized universe, and the audience, fully immersed in the story, feels the pull of these dynamics, caught between empathy, fascination, and the thrill of watching a scandal unfold, as the narrative continues to escalate, tension building, alliances shifting, and the storm of emotion, speculation, and suspense reaching new heights, promising even more dramatic twists, shocking revelations, and high-intensity moments in the next segment of this sensationalized saga. The storm in this dramatized universe continues to intensify as Mendeecees, in this sensationalized narrative, begins to reveal more about the imagined sequence of events, the alleged moments that fans in this AL world have been speculating about for weeks, and as he speaks, every word seems to vibrate with tension, every pause thick with anticipation, because in this entertainment universe, suspense is measured not only by what is said but by what is implied, leaving the audience hanging on the edge of every syllable, hearts racing, minds spinning with theories, and emotions running high, completely engrossed in a spectacle that feels real despite existing solely in this reality TV-style world. He recalls interactions that, in this AL account, feel intimate, charged, and fraught with emotional complexity, moments that have been distorted in the rumor mill of the imagined social media landscape, and as he narrates these experiences, the tension escalates, because the audience in this dramatized story reacts as though witnessing reality, dissecting every detail, analyzing every gesture, and speculating wildly, their curiosity and investment feeding the energy of the narrative, driving it forward in waves of suspense, shock, and emotional engagement, because in a crafted sensationalized universe, fan reaction is as much a part of the story as the characters themselves. Simultaneously, Tamar's perspective enters through imagined private reflections, messages to friends, and secret conversations that leak to the public within this AL world, creating a counterpoint that heightens tension, deepens intrigue, and introduces additional conflict, because in this dramatized storytelling style, differing viewpoints, misunderstandings, and conflicting emotions are essential to maintaining suspense and engagement, and the audience is drawn to every nuance, every subtle expression, and every emotional undercurrent, fully absorbed in the layered complexity of the narrative, feeling as though they are witnessing a live, high-stakes drama unfold before their eyes. The tension intensifies further when an imagined confrontation erupts between Mendeecees and a close friend or confidant, a scene filled with raised voices, accusations, emotional outbursts, and moments of regret, because in this crafted reality TV-style universe, conflict drives the story, fuels engagement, and creates suspense, and the audience, deeply invested in the drama, reacts emotionally to the clash, debating loyalties, analyzing motives, and speculating on potential outcomes, caught in a cycle of curiosity, shock, and anticipation that mirrors the intensity of the narrative itself, while the AL characters navigate the high-stakes emotional landscape with vulnerability, frustration, and determination. In this segment of the story, Mendeecees also addresses the impact of public perception, the role of rumor, and the consequences of misinterpretation in this dramatized world, describing how each alleged interaction has been magnified, distorted, and scrutinized, fueling controversy and conflict, and as he speaks, the audience responds with heightened engagement, their emotions tethered to the narrative, their opinions forming rapidly, and their fascination growing, because in a sensationalized entertainment universe, the interplay between rumor, reaction, and emotional intensity is what sustains the drama, keeping fans riveted, emotionally invested, and craving the next revelation. Furthermore, a new twist emerges in this saga. An imagined leak or revelation that challenges previous assumptions, introduces fresh conflict, and forces characters to reevaluate relationships, alliances, and trust, because in reality TV-style storytelling, surprises are the lifeblood of suspense and engagement. And as this information spreads throughout the constructed social media landscape, fans in the dramatized world explode with reactions, debates, and emotional responses, intensifying the drama, heightening stakes, and deepening investment in the unfolding story, while the characters themselves navigate the shifting dynamics with tension, strategic communication, and emotional vulnerability. As the narrative progresses, emotional depth is further explored through imagined private conversations, reflective monologues, and behind-the-scenes interactions that reveal fear, hope, loyalty, and tension, allowing the audience to feel intimately connected to the characters and the high-stakes situations they face, because in a crafted sensationalized universe, emotional resonance amplifies engagement, drawing viewers deeper into the drama, heightening suspense, and creating anticipation for subsequent twists and revelations, as every detail, every reaction, and every decision carries heightened significance, keeping the narrative alive, compelling, and irresistible to the audience. The part concludes with the drama at an intense peak, relationships strained, emotions raw, and the public response in this crafted universe more volatile than ever, leaving the imagined audience in suspense, hearts pounding, and minds racing with speculation, fully immersed in the sensationalized reality TV-style narrative, anticipating the next phase of the story, where new revelations, emotional confrontations, and dramatic twists will push the stakes even higher, maintaining the relentless tension, intrigue, and emotional engagement that define this crafted entertainment saga. And there you have it, the drama unfolding before your eyes, every twist, every rumor, and every emotional reveal leaving fans shocked, hearts racing, and the world buzzing with tension. But the story doesn't end here. There are still questions lingering, secrets yet to be uncovered, and alliances that may shift at any moment, and now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe Mendeecees' side of the story? Do you think Tamar's perspective holds the truth? Or is this entire saga just a whirlwind of misperception and emotional chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, join the conversation, and don't forget to like this video if you've been captivated by the drama so far, because your engagement helps keep the story alive, sparks further discussion, and ensures you stay part of every shocking twist and explosive revelation that comes next in this sensationalized reality TV-style universe. And of course, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single moment of the scandal, speculation, and drama that continues to grip this world, keeping fans like you on the edge of your seats, hearts pounding, and minds racing with every new development, because in this sensationalized story, your voice, your opinion, and your reactions are part of the experience. And the saga is far from over, with even more twists, betrayals, and emotional explosions waiting just around the corner.